Hey everyone, Beth Barany here. I am the host of How to Write the Future podcast, and I'm sharing with you an episode from my premium channel because I think it is so relevant to everyone. So let's dive in. Enjoy. Today I'm going to talk about the writer's GMC. What does GMC stand for? That stands for goal, motivation, conflict. And I pulled that right from a book called GMC, Goal, Motivation, Conflict by Deb Dixon. Why is this important? As a writer, you are designing characters. You need to know your character's goal, your character's motivation, and your character's conflict or conflicts for storytelling. Now, years ago, I took that idea and I was like, aha, this is great if we apply it to ourselves, to the creative process. So I wrote a book actually using that tool and many other tools, specifically the hero's journey. And I wrote the Writer's Adventure Guide, 12 Stages to Writing Your Book. This is a self-coaching guide for the creative process. So this book is still available. You can check it out. It's got a lot of great exercises in there. I today want to explain to you what is the Writer's GMC and how you can apply it to your writing as well as any creative project that you're doing. So let's go through it step at a time. And I even have an article that is a companion to this if you want to check that out in the show notes. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth than what this article does because, hey, I wrote this article, nearly 20 years ago, and I've updated it. Okay, so in your writer's GMC, you can use this as a rubric, a template, a checklist for any creative project. We're going to focus here today on your creative writing. But if you have a creative business, I work also with creative entrepreneurs, you could use it for that, and you could use it for small projects, big projects, medium-sized projects. So the first thing, goal. And when I speak of goal, I mean the hard goal, the goal that is a little bit of difficult, not the one that's easy. Write the big goal that you're working on that feels meaty, that feels challenging, that feels like you're up against a big, tall mountain. And you're like, I'm not really sure going straight up. That seems awfully hard, but I need to do it. That kind of goal. So be specific. What are you working on right now? What is the shape of it? But also, what is the end goal? There you are. You're at the end of this project. Where would you like to be? Or if you want to cut it down to size, it doesn't have to be the whole project like a book. You don't have to put, I want to be publishing my book. That's great. But let's bring it down to what is it that you're trying to accomplish today, tomorrow, this week, next month, the next big chunk. Okay? So write that down. What is your goal? And what you want is to be able to look at your goal, what you've written down, and have a really clear picture for what that looks like. I might say, I want to finish my copy edits by, at this rate, I think I could finish my copy edits in 2 weeks. So if I'm diligent at it, to give myself some room, I'm going to say my goal is to get it done by the end of the month. Or I could say, if I'm writing on a first draft, which I am also, I'll say, okay, my goal is to have a first draft ready to show my critique partners by the end of the year, for example. That project, personally, I don't have a deadline on, but I do know what I'm working on. All right, next, motivation. M for motivation. You want to understand what is driving you. Just like we want to know why our characters do what they do, and we need to hint at that in our stories so that our readers can relate to our characters. You need to know what is fueling you, what is driving you to work on and accomplish this goal. And then what are your secondary motivations? And maybe there's even a deeper reason and another deeper reason below that. When we want to accomplish something, it's not just for the externals of it. There's a deeper reason. I talk to a lot of writers and they talk about satisfaction, a sense of accomplishment, leaving a legacy. All of these are deeper goals. So see if when you explore your motivation for your goal, how deep can you go? Go as deep as you can. For some, it might be about communicating a dream, a message to the world. For others, they want to teach, they want to serve. For others, they want recognition and they want to have a place in their community. So there's no right answer to this part about motivation. It's really what is the truest thing for you. So we talked about goal. What is your goal? Be as specific as possible. Talked about motivation. Be as truthful as possible and see if you can go deep, deep into your soul and really answer the question, why is this important to you? Why is this goal, this very specific goal, important to you? Let me give you just one example. I am working on copy edits for a book that's already published. Why would I even do that? And it's not easy. Copy edits aren't easy for me, but they're necessary. So I have learned a ton since I first published that book. And I want to be really proud of this book today. The version of me who published it years ago, that was the best I can make it. So now I want to make it the best I can make it today, this week, this month. And so I can stand proud beside it because it's also a foundational piece of a larger storytelling universe that I'm involved in. And I really want to feel like I put my best foot forward today. So I'm giving it a refresh. And I feel like I'm reconnecting and recommitting to this story world and the characters and all the bigger things that I plan to have coming from this book, like a TV show, maybe a film, who knows? It's a big, ambitious project. So why not? I'm an independent author. I get to do this and I'm going to do it. And I am doing it. So there's a sense of bonding deeper, a recommitment ceremony, if you will, with this whole vast project and what I want to do with it. It's my Henrietta the Dragon Slayer series. All right. So we talked about goal. We talked about motivation. Let's talk about conflict. Our characters encounter challenges on the way to their goal. That's what makes their goal hard. Same with us. We are going after our goal and it's not easy. That's why we're doing this exercise. What is in the way? What are the challenges? What are the conflicts? There's going to be two main categories. There's going to be the internal conflicts and there's going to be the external conflicts. Time, for example, often feels like an external conflict, a limitation, if you will, another way of putting it. Conflict, challenge, limitation. So also self-talk. Self-talk is often a challenge. We often put ourselves down. I notice I'm constantly berating myself, not very helpful. And I also have complainy voice inside. Oh, this is so hard. Yes, it is hard. Okay, I'm going to list that down as one of my conflicts. Judgment from any quarter, judgment from within, judgment from without. Those are all conflicts. We're not trying to fix anything right now. We're just noticing, acknowledging, writing it down. Being overly busy, having a lot of commitments that maybe you're like, hey, I really want to work on my book, but I have these other commitments and it's clashing. That's a real conflict. Our work obligations, our family obligations, also hobbies. Maybe we have a lot of hobbies and writing just takes up some of that time, but other things take up that time. Those are real things. I'm not going to judge you for that. What we're doing here is we're just taking an inventory of conflicts. We're not solving any problems right now. Because once we know what our internal and external challenges, limitations, conflicts are, then we can take action. We can make choices. So this is a moment for taking inventory. So now we've done the goal, the motivation, the conflicts. Now what? I am not leaving you hanging. I invented a fourth component, S, for strength. Because our characters, they need to confront their challenges to get to their goal. And we hopefully create characters that transform and grow. So by the time they are facing their biggest challenge toward the end of your story, they have also grown and transformed and gained strengths and allies and the ability to do something they couldn't do at the beginning. Well, same with us, except we're going to harness your strengths right now. So let's take an inventory of your strengths. And strengths, again, are in two main categories. You're going to have the internal strengths, the gifts that you were born with, the things that you have learned, your mindset, your know-how, your life experience. And we're also going to look at the external strengths, the people in your life, the environment that you're in, the fact that you have tools, computer, phone, typewriter, pen, paper, desk, chair. These are all, I consider them strengths. They're gifts, they're parts of our life that allow us to do what we can do as writers, as creative people. Other strengths can be humor, curiosity, intelligence, drive. Also, another outer strength that you might have is the ability to schedule time to write and the ability to go and write. Another one of my strengths is I have a long playlist that helps me write and that I put together. So I would call that an external strength. So there you have it. I just went through the writer's GMC, goal, motivation, conflict, and the bonus one, strengths. I recommend that you do a short brainstorm on these elements. Give yourself 5-10 minutes or set the timer for 20 minutes, which is one of my favorite things to do for timed writing, and just brainstorm on this. Now, anytime you are stuck, confused, overwhelmed, forget, wait, where am I? Maybe you've taken a break from your writing. You're like, what am I doing? Use the writer's GMC to refocus yourself, reorient yourself, find your North Star, and take your next step. All right, everyone, that's it for this week. Write long and prosper.